Democratic Florida Congressman and member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Jared Moskowitz, joins me. Good evening, sir. And, your thoughts on these protests, because, it's hard to talk about all the hate on these campuses, but I don't know, what to do or how to solve it. But, what's your thought?
Well, thanks, Greta. Thanks for having me. Obviously, good news on the hostage release. Israel is doing everything it can to get back the hostages. We need Sinwar, who is somewhere hiding in Gaza, to release the remainder of the hostages, which would obviously stop the suffering of the Palestinian people and bring an end to the war. But we await for him to make that deal. As far as what's happening on the college campuses, it's more of the same of what we saw. First of all, if these students want to help the people of Gaza, everything they did last semester and everything they're doing today is the opposite of what will help. Because all this is doing, quite frankly, is showing their anti-Semitism, which is what we saw last year when people were saying, go back to Poland or kill all the Zionists. And not a single student, I didn't see a single student come out and say, look, I'm here to help the Palestinian people. But those guys over there that are saying, go back to Poland, they're not with me. Didn't see a single student separate themselves from that anti-Semitic discourse. And so, look, it's now incumbent upon the universities to enforce their code of conduct. That is the only way this stuff is going to stop. We know that there are actors out there trying to agitate, professional agitators, trying to get students to do all of this stuff. But there will be no boycott, divestment, or sanction. The BDS movement failed in this country. Most states have prohibited that sort of activity.
You mentioned Sinwar, the irony of Yahya Sinwar, who, at least according to most reports, he said that he won't agree to any sort of hostage ceasefire unless Israel guarantees that they won't kill him, when he is the architect of the slaughter of 1,300. That's just for starters on October 7th. And what he has caused in terms of all the death and destruction of Gaza. And he alone, at least I think, if he stepped forward and surrendered. And of course, you can't forget the fact that about 20 years ago, he had a brain tumor, and who saved his life? It was the Israelis who saved his life. And now this little rat living in a tunnel is saying that he won't agree to any sort of ceasefire to protect everybody unless Israel agrees not to kill him.
No, Greta, I'm glad you're showing his picture. This is the man single-handedly responsible for all of the despair the Palestinian people have suffered, are suffering, and continuing to suffer. He is the reason why Gaza has been turned into a war zone. He is the reason why hostage families cannot be reunited with their loved ones. He's the reason there's not a ceasefire deal. It's him, because this is all about him.
But then we go back to the college campuses. These college students, they don't get it. I mean, I've been there. I've seen that. I'm sure you have too. But they don't get it. They're out protesting, not realizing that this one man. Of course, it helped to eliminate Hania, but this one man could stop everything. Sinwar.
They don't get it because their TikTok feeds are full of anti-Israel propaganda, and they're not talking about Sinwar. This man should be as famous as Osama bin Laden, and he isn't, because we have not put that sort of highlight on him. He is the military head and the political head of Hamas, and he wants Hamas to remain in power in Gaza. That's never going to happen. Those days are over. But while he does that, whether in a bunker or hiding potentially among the civilian population, he uses the innocent Palestinian civilian population as human shields. He makes sure to put his stuff in hospitals and in schools. He stole millions, tens of millions of dollars from the Palestinians, billions, if you include the top 5 people from Hamas. The former leader of Hamas was worth $5 billion. What did he invent? He didn't invent anything. He stole that money from the Palestinian people.
I'm glad you say that, but I always say he didn't create the iPhone. He didn't create Amazon. He was a billionaire because he ripped off the UN and everybody else. But anyway, Congressman Jared Moskowitz, thank you for joining me. I hope you come back, sir, because this is a topic we talk about every night here. Thank you, sir.